Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 26th of 2025, and given that the whole Charlie Kirk assassination that happened on September 10th is indeed creating a wide range of emotions, there's no doubt about this. We have seen this from the general public, on social media, even in Hollywood, unfortunately, where you have a lot of celebrities either saying terrible things about Charlie Kirk or really just saying great things about the man. And that's the reality of the situation, is that you're dealing with Hollywood right now. A lot of actors, a lot of actresses saying downright lies about him, mocking him, attacking him, even his friends and family, getting mocked by a lot of these Hollywood celebrities out there. And this is exactly what's really creating a lot of uproar from the general public, and why people are actually deciding to no longer support a lot of these celebrities. Now, we already know that the 7th series by Apple, that was another one, and how Jessica Chastain is really getting very frustrated over the fact that there was a delay with that show, or that actual project, I should say, by Apple, and how that was all delayed because of the whole Charlie Kirk situation, but we'll talk more about that down the road. Focusing, though, on the South Park situation, there's a lot of things going on right now between Trey Parker, Matt Stone, the creators of the series, and Paramount executives. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Trey Parker and Matt Stone is that we know that just yesterday, just 2 days ago actually, we saw the 5th episode of South Park. Now, they're midway through the entire season. They got 5 more episodes to go. I believe that they actually start the next one, episode 6, on October 15th. And there's a lot of things going on right now. South Park is getting blocked. They are actually getting banned in specific areas from production. And a lot of it has to do with anything mentioning, referencing, or creating a parody of Charlie Kirk. However, what got them in a lot of trouble recently, under serious supervision, has a lot to do with how Trey Parker and Matt Stone were surprisingly persistent of actually going through with really just creating another parody version of Charlie Kirk. Now, one thing about all of this is that we all know that the episode that aired some time ago, they did actually take it off the air in specific areas, right? I believe it was actually still on Comedy Central, but however still on Paramount Plus or vice versa, and later taken off on one of those. What's interesting though here is that with the assassination of Charlie Kirk already, of course, showing everyone's true colors, ranging from the public to social media to even within Hollywood, where unfortunately many celebrities mocked and actually said terrible things about Charlie. However, one major development going on now involves more to do with South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Now, it turns out that Parker and Stone were pressed and urged, again, by Paramount executives to not move forward with their plans to bring back Charlie Kirk, as initially planned in the outlines of the next 5 episodes. Now, it turns out that there has been a power struggle going on between both Paramount and South Park Studios, where Parker and Stone want to desperately move forward to continue to mock Charlie Kirk as planned. The plan was to not only bring him back in a major way to interact with President Trump in the White House and J.D. Vance, but also with the comical version of Satan. This was specifically catered for episode 6 in October, however found their desperate moves to go through within the episode as insensitive, and as a result, for the remainder of the episodes of this season, Paramount executives, including the board, have agreed that both Parker and Stone will have to get their next 5 episodes approved before they give it to the go-ahead to make sure there's no Charlie Kirk references in there at all. South Park episode 7 was supposed to mock Charlie as well. He would be singing a song about Christ. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, we all know that South Park has done things that are actually, having no boundaries, really going beyond any boundaries possible, where they did mock everything and everything that they could. Now, look, we know that this whole situation of what happened on September 10th, there is no doubt in my mind that this was a good move by Paramount. I think it was a good move by Paramount. Some of you may disagree with me on that, but I think that all future references or parody versions of Charlie Kirk, mocking him or creating a parody version of him probably wouldn't be the best thing to do right now, and it's way too soon after his death. It hasn't even been 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks yet at this point. So it really would be way too soon to do this, and I just think that the fact that Trey Parker and Matt Stone were trying to go through with this, and how they were pressuring Paramount executives to just say yes, and to just actually get with the program in their mind, that really just goes to show you how far Trey Parker and Matt Stone were willing to go. And I really just think it's an insensitive thing to really do at this point. I really do. Some people would actually have differing opinions, though, on the existing episode staying up on specific areas, whether it's on Comedy Central or Paramount Plus. You know, we knew that they took them off at one of those. We're not sure if they actually went up or not in specific markets. But one thing about all of this is that South Park Episode 7 was, yes, supposed to mark Charlie in that way by singing a song about Christ. However, the plans for this by Parker and Stone were also found to be insensitive by Paramount execs. Now, many more appearances of Charlie were planned to appear for the remainder of the episodes, but were banned immediately. South Park was immediately banned from making any Charlie Kirk-related material after his assassination. However, what put both Trey and Matt under supervision, was when they desperately tried to convince Paramount executives to go through with a more lightened parody version of Charlie as Charlie, of course, as Parker and Stone, claimed that's when Charlie would actually have enjoyed. Paramount disagreed, and both Parker and Stone grew frustrated over their Charlie Kirk-related content getting blocked in the next 5 episodes. Parker and Stone still wanted to go through with providing Charlie at least 4 to 5 minutes of screen time per episode for the next 5. This was out of the question for Paramount, as they didn't want to deal with the same situation that ABC went through, and Paramount urged them that it was way too soon. Now, Paramount even had to warn them that they themselves would take legal action if they continued to brainstorm ideas of this behind the scenes without their approval after what happened on September 10th. Instead, Parker and Stone are now rewriting their entire plans for the next 5 episodes, which they had generally mapped out to begin with, but that will now be all redone as a result of Paramount's supervision. Now look, I think that it's a very tricky situation going on right now. Of course, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to say, Charlie would have wanted this, he would have wanted himself to be in all these episodes, so why not let Trey Parker and Matt Stone do their thing? On the other end, and you have a lot of these people too, that will say that it would have been very insensitive, way too soon, and just something that really would have been very, very odd to do at this point in time. Look, this whole thing that happened just occurred on September 10th, and I think Paramount made the right call. I think that they did a very good decision. If they really wanted to, they could have given approval to Trey Parker and Matt Stone to do something very lighthearted, maybe even something very, nice and catered to Charlie's legacy. They could have done something maybe like that, perhaps, at the maximum. Or at the minimum, I should say. I don't know what they would have done there, but when you're looking at Paramount as a whole, they had a right mind on their, shoulders, and they really knew what they were doing, I think, because obviously you don't want to fall into what Jimmy Kimmel fell into. You don't want to fall into what ABC dealt with because of Jimmy Kimmel. And I think that they saw that. They saw what happened with ABC. They saw exactly what happened with the Walt Disney Company and how they actually lost Nexstar and Sinclair for a very long while, and that also is going to take a major hit on the ratings for Jimmy Kimmel's next few episodes. But again, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this whole power struggle between South Park creators and Paramount executives, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.